Hello, everybody. This is Allen Devlin with Atlanta News First here, joining you at the First Alert desk. It is Friday. We made it to the end of the week. I've got three stories I want to walk you guys through here to talk about some top stories for the day, things that have been happening in the Atlanta area and beyond. The first one I want to walk you through was something you might have already heard. The Supreme Court, just in the last hour or so, did preserve abortion pill access, specifically mifepristone, which is that abortion pill, that medication we've been talking about here for the last 2 weeks or so, when a lower judge actually decided that it was unsafe to use and there was an impending ban on the medication nationwide. And then it just went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and we now know that the Supreme Court has allowed this drug to stand as of now. And that could change in the coming weeks and months, whatever that looks like. But right now, mifepristone is still allowed to be used in states where abortion is legal, whether it be at 6 weeks, at 12 weeks, at 18 weeks. It changes depending on what state you're in, what part of the country you're in. This is the first real abortion rights case the Supreme Court has handled since they initially overturned Roe versus Wade last summer. And so for this one to make it all the way up to the Supreme Court, obviously a massive deal. There's a lot of support and people supporting and people against this decision, as there always has been. We've been covering it very extensively from the jump and what it impacts people here on a local level. But as we stand right now, the Supreme Court has upheld it, and you will be able to continue to utilize mifepristone in situations based on a state-to-state basis as of now. The next story I want to talk to you guys about is it's a sad story that's unfortunately happening here in Atlanta. We've got a string of shootings where transgender women are the target of these shootings. And most recently, I'm going to bring up a video here. Police are looking for this gentleman right here, not as a suspect, maybe as someone who could provide some more information about a shooting that happened this week, Tuesday, at Atlanta Strip Mall. And Coco Dadal was shot and killed at the mall, also known as Rashida Williams. This is her. She was killed at that mall, and this is one of what's been several shootings where transgender women have been the victim. Now, Atlanta police are not saying that this is a string of hate crimes or this is a string that is specifically targeting transgender women, but they are investigating to see if that could be the case. They do believe that these incidents are not random and they are not connected. So there's a chance this is a really, really tragic and unfortunate coincidence. Anytime you lose life like this, it's never good. But to have a loss of the transgender communities like this is also at the same time never good. Any loss of life is never good. And what we've seen in the last several weeks and over the last several years is a rise in crime against the transgender community, not only on a nationwide level, but here in Georgia as well. It's gotten worse as time has gone on. So APD is trying to figure out, specifically what happened, of course, with Rashida Williams, with Coco Dadal, but then these other instances where transgender women were the victims of these violent crimes, these shootings, and this loss of life. Figure out why that's happening in Atlanta and why these numbers are all of a sudden getting worse in our metro area as well. So that's a sad, sad story out of South Atlanta, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Rashida Williams and her community, because she also, another point of that, she is a starring in a film that's airing at a film festival this weekend, and she's got a following as well. She's a little bit famous, they would say, people that know her would say. So losing her is never ever a good thing. Any loss of life is never a good thing. The last story I want to talk to you guys about is out of the brand new city of Mableton, where tragedy has struck. 59 people lost pretty much everything in a massive apartment fire overnight. And Patrick Quinn was out at the apartment complex today. He's been covering the story all day. He actually found a diamond in the rough here. While those apartments were going up in flame, he found a man, a neighbor, who was going door to door, helping neighbors escape, letting them know that their building was on fire. And then after the fire had been quelled and quashed, he was providing food and resources and in his own bed for these people who had literally lost their entire lives in the blink of an eye. Patrick spoke to him and documented a small portion of what his day and what his night looked like. Here's Patrick Quinn.
In 1 second, everything you have is gone. I mean, just try to imagine that.
For Sheena Smith, her purple bicycle, her life, flipped upside down after a fire gutted her apartment complex.
Your stability is gone.
From our helicopter, you really get a sense of the devastation. Sheena says she's still numb, but grateful to be alive. And she has Richard Ahedo in part to thank.
I knocked on her door and she came out. I knocked on this one, so they came out too.
At around 11 Thursday night, through his broken curtain across the street, Richard saw the smoke and heard popping. He ran door to door, banging on windows to get people out.
I'm scared for them. I ain't scared for me, you know. 'Cause I saw a lot of people with little babies, especially.
Incredibly, Cobb County fire officials told me nobody died, nobody was seriously injured, but 59 people were displaced. I asked Sheena where she'll sleep tonight.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out, I guess.
This complex lies within the city of Mableton, just approved for cityhood in November by Cobb County voters.
The new city being here, the new lines, we are within Mableton.
Mableton's new mayor-elect, Michael Owens, just voted in 3 days ago, is now connecting those displaced with food, clothing, and housing resources.
This is, not the way that I wanted to start tenure as mayor, but it's part of what the role is.
A mayor quick to act, and for Richard, his selflessness also hasn't stopped. He let 5 people sleep in his apartment and bought Chick-fil-A for those displaced, including Sheena, who, amidst immense loss, savored a moment of morality.
It's a refreshing feeling to know that people still care.
So an absolutely incredible story coming out of Mableton. And mind you, Mableton is a brand new city. They just became a city a short while ago, and their mayor isn't even mayor yet. He's just the mayor-elect. He's the first mayor ever of the city of Mableton, but again, he's just mayor-elect, and this is unfortunately what he is now spending his time doing to start his entire career as the mayor of Mableton, dealing with 59 people looking for a home. So before I talk about weather, I want to give you guys the opportunity, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it may be, let's chat, let's talk. Anything on your mind, anything you want to talk about, or any comments you have on the stories we just kind of walked through here, feel free to throw me any questions you have, any comments, anything like that. I'll do my best to answer, and we'll kind of go from there. But ultimately, and I was unfortunately just informed that Fred Campagna will not be joining us here tonight. We've got a lot going on here in the newsroom, so he will not be jumping on board. But what I can do is walk you very briefly through what the weather looks like here in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area. And basically, it is going to be a early morning set of showers tomorrow here in the metro. But if you don't wake up, 6, 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow on a Saturday, then you're not even going to see it. Other than that, it's going to start to get a little bit cooler as we kind of move into the start of next week and all of next week, honestly. And if you've been getting used to these 70s and these 80s, they're going to disappear for a little bit, and you are going to be, all of us are going to be getting plunged into some much colder temperatures, much cooler than what we would expect this time of year in this April-May transition period for sure. So if your AC's been cranking the last couple of weeks, starting next week and the week after that, you're probably not going to need it as much because it is going to drop to the 70s and the 60s at night sometimes. And you might want to be whipping out those jackets again. I know you probably all put them up. You're getting ready for the pool. Yet here we are dealing with probably the last tailwind of winter we're going to see. I don't see us dropping into the 60s and 50s once we get to May. But I'm not the meteorologist, so I'm not going to make that prediction. Don't hold me to that. I hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastic, phenomenal, great, superb, super Friday, the rest of your evening here, and you go into your weekend ready and refreshed for a Saturday and a Sunday. I will be right back here to see you guys next week, Monday, from the First Alert Desk. And, of course, you can join me tonight at 9 and 11. I'll be on Peachtree TV at 9 o'clock with Sean Gables, and then 11 o'clock I'll be back with Sean again. Savannah Louie will be holding down the 10 o'clock on Peachtree tonight. And Rick Folbaum is not here, so I'm going to help out on the 9 and the 11. So I'll see you guys then. Have a phenomenal rest of your day.